Hello again. I just want to get this up, and then I think we're close to being done. We've only got a month left of ECW before I put a little crown on it. So this could be the last one, or we could be having one. Okay. So we kick November 7th off with. We show what happened at Cyber Sunday with Shelton. And we show that he's gone over again. And we're going. And then we come back. We might have him have a little speech, and we'll have Paul Heyman come out and say, well, in a little over a month, ECW is getting its first pay-per-view, and you will be defending that ECW title in the main event. And he's like, whoa, okay. He's like, okay, well, who are you going to bring at me? Well, he says, well, in a few weeks we're going to have a championship match where there will be the top 4 people you have already faced for that championship. So we then go to the new breed, who are Mike Knox, Jamie Noble, and Matt Striker, with Kelly, taking on the F.B.I. and Steven Richards. The F.B.I. being Tony Mamaluke and Little Guido. And I'd have the new breed go over because I want to really establish them as a threat. So yeah, we do that. Sandman taking on Elijah Burke. I'd have Elijah Burke go over. So I'd have it be a new breed night. Shelton, Benjamin, and Gregory Helms team up to take on Matt Hardy and an our babyface Shannon Moore. Because Shannon, I'd have Shannon sort of be stuck between the two. In this match, he'd be like, what the heck am I going to do? This Gregory is my friend, but so is Matt. What am I going to do? And it's sort of like he's caught in the middle sort of thing. So he'd be very hesitant, so he wouldn't be really going up against Gregory Helms so much. He'd be like, whenever Shelton was in, he would be more than willing to tag, but when Gregory was in, he would be like very hesitant to tag in. So November 4th rolls around, November 14th rolls around. Cruiserweight title, Gregory Helms with Shelton in his corner, taking on Shannon Moore. Now, during that match, after the match, I would have that the previous week, Gregory sort of does low blows Shannon Moore after the match and then throws him out of the ring, and then they double team Matt Hardy. Okay, so yeah, we do that, and Helms goes over in this match, November 14th. Then we have Danny, Doring, and Roadkill teaming up to take on the new breed members Jamie Noble and Matt Striker. Doring pins Jamie Noble. And then we have Sandman taking on C.W. Anderson in the main event. Sandman goes over. Alright, then we come back November 21st, CM Punk and the F.B.I. with Trinity take on the new breed, Mike Knox, Jamie Noble, and Matt Striker with Kelly. Mike Knox pins Little Guido. Oh no. Psicosis versus Shannon Moore. Psicosis goes over with a diving leg drop. Now, the number 1 contendership match for the ECW title match at December to Dismember. Matt Hardy taking on Elijah Burke, taking on Rob Van Dam, taking on C.W. Anderson. Shelton Benjamin is on guest comedy during the match. He hits RVD with a pair of brass knuckles, costing him the RVD the match, but Matt Hardy manages to get the win over C.W. Anderson. Okay, Survivor Series rolls around. There's not much for ECW to do at that, so I just simply threw in the new breed versus the ECW originals. So that's sort of why those other matches were going on. It was the only way I could build up to this. The new breed, Elijah Burke, Mike Knox, Jamie Noble, and Matt Striker take on the ECW originals, Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, Rob Van Dam, and RB. So Sandman and Dreamer get eliminated pretty quickly. Well, not quickly, but they're like the first two to go. On the other side of things, it's Jamie Noble and Matt Striker are the two to go. So, but eventually it comes down to RVD and Sabu versus Elijah Burke and Mike Knox. Mike Knox gets eliminated, but shortly after Sabu gets eliminated. So it's down to Rob Van Dam and Elijah Burke. They're going back and forth. And eventually RVD gets the win. So it's really there. Alright, coming out right after the next ECW show. Matt Hardy comes down and says, congratulations to the ECW Originals for their win on this past Sunday at Survivor Series. But he's finally decided, he's finally going to be able to do what he's been trying to do for so long, and that is to take that ECW title and put it around his waist. Before too much happens, before anything else, before that happens, I've got a challenge in mind. I am challenging the WWE Tag Team Champions, because I want to take them on beforehand, and I want to walk into December to Dismember with Tag Team Gold around my waist. And I brought a friend of mine to, well, a little bit more than a friend of mine, to come join me in this match. And that's left at that. And Shannon and Brian Kendrick and Paul London come out. They say, "Yeah, sure, we will be more than glad to defend against you and whoever you got. You can bring Shannon, you can bring Gregory. We don't care who it is." But Shannon Moore is taking on Jamie Noble, so it's not. We know it's not him. Noble goes over in that match because he's been taking a little bit of a beating, but we want that to happen. CW Anderson takes on Balls Mahoney. CW goes over because, well, I want to build him up because I want to do stuff with him later down on the track. I'm going to try and keep him around. So the championship match rolls around. Paul London, Brian Kendrick come out. They got those belts on. They're pretty excited. And then we hear the Hardy's Boys music, and it's Matt and Jeff to take on them. The match goes on. It's pretty high octane, really good, high flying fun. Shelton comes out. Costs the Hardys the match by hitting Jeff outside the ring, and Matt Hardy's sort of stuck in there, and Paul London's able to get the 450, but they don't know, they don't realise, they didn't see anything, so they don't realise that that's what's happened. All right, so we got some time here, so this will be the last video for this series. December to Dismember. Balls Mahoney versus Elijah Burke in the opening match. Burke goes over. Paul London, WWE Tag Team title match. Paul London and Brian Kendrick versus Veteran Attitude, Hardcore Holly and Val Venus versus the F.B.I, Tony Mamaluke and Little Guido with Trinity. And then the new breed, Matt Striker and Mike Knox in a four-way match. Striker pins Little Guido, Val pins Mike Knox, and London pins Holly with the 450. So yeah, that match would be pretty out of control. Pretty good though. Gregory Helms versus Super Crazy and Jamie Noble. Gregory Helms pins Super Crazy. Now we could have Super Crazy pin Jamie Noble, but seeing as it's a WWE match, we can't really do that. Sandman versus Steven Richards. I didn't have anything for either one of these guys, and I wanted to do something with them. So Sandman wins. It's a pretty friendly match, but it's pretty hardcore. CM Punk versus Psicosis. I wanted CM Punk to do something at this show, and I thought he would be more than willing to take on a legend like Psicosis. And it's something for him to do. I didn't really have much for him left after I did this. So, while those two matches aren't going to be the blowouts, but I imagine that CM Punk and Psicosis could have a great match, and I'm pretty sure Sandman and Steven Richards could have a great match as well. I know people would be much preferring Sandman to take on CM Punk, but I want to do that. I want to do this. Rob Van Dam and Sabu versus Danny Doring and Roadkill. RVD pins Danny Doring. Tommy Dreamer versus C.W. Anderson. Again, I would do that match again. Dreamer goes over again. ECW title, Matt Hardy versus Shelton Benjamin. Back and forth, back and forth. Great match. And Matt Hardy goes over, holds that championship up. He wins with Twist of Fate. That everything goes down like that. Incredibly awesome match, I would say, and I would really, having done what I've done, I reckon I could have put Shelton over as an event superstar. I reckon he eventually would move on out of this and probably go more in the main event scene. Matt Hardy would have a great run with the belt. He would obviously have another rematch at Armageddon with Shelton. I know we'd be sacrificing. We've sacrificed some matches along the way, but I think coming out of this, we would be in a much better place than we were coming out of the December to Dismember, the original one. We've got some great matches. Yeah, granted, we got two throwaway. We got some weird matchups on there with Sandman and that. We didn't bring Bobby Lashley in. I didn't want to. I still don't see that guy as a big deal. Like, you take away his size, there's not much there. But I would much rather be coming out of this with some. Granted, we haven't done a lot with those ECW originals, but we've done more with them than what they did, I feel. And we've got a pretty solid roster with some of those guys that people essentially just threw to the wayside, and I think we've pulled out a great show, great lot here. We've done some great things with Elijah Burke. We've formed the new breed early. We got a lot of matches with a lot of these matches that I've put together. They're not, when somebody goes down, it's not to bury them, but to do stuff with them later. Or I wanted to put this was my priority, but I want to do stuff with these guys. Hopefully coming out of this, I would have gotten an additional hour so I could do more with the size of the roster that I have. So, yeah. So hopefully coming out of this, we're in a better position. Anyway, that's it for this series. We will be back with something else when Booker Who returns.